the global market of AI in banking is expected to grow with around 30% CAGR compounded annual growth rate, and it is registered that around $20 billion in 2024. Okay, so the number is saying that what is the potential of this market?
What are the possibilities of the technology which is coming in now, and how do I utilize those possibilities to solve the problems that I have as a bank in my hand is the challenge. Okay, so that's the definition, the biggest challenge. And of course, if we break it down, there will be operational challenges, there will be strategic challenges, there will be people related challenges, and all that is going to be there. If you look at readiness point of view, if your bank is quite a legacy bank, you have the systems, the APIs, and the entire tech ecosystem or tech stack, if it is very old, then it becomes a problem, right? So there is a lot of work that you have to do to get ready. When I say about old systems, what can go is that your data is in silos, because for anything and everything that you do in AI, your data preparedness is one of the big topics on the table, right? So at this point in time, for a bank, at least banking industry, I think it is going to be top down, because the leaders have to first decide, saying that where we want to go and what is the path which is going to lead us there. Personal opinion, but I feel that a lot of work has to be done by the leaders in the organizations to understand and see how to apply AI first of all. Otherwise, they'll not be able to guide the their organization.
You are suggesting now, as per your understanding, main challenges coming from need to be changed from top-down approach from the leaders.
Topics which has been existing ever since probably when banks were invented even. Okay, so how do I do more with less resources, more with less people, more with probably less process steps and things like that was always the focus which is there, right? So where I see at least eagerness of banks to get AI adopted is more in this space in terms of its operations.
What is the mindset going on towards among these customers, because customers are really ready to embrace this AI driven banking systems or apps like mobile apps.
See, the readiness of customers comes from need. Say for example, if I say somebody older in my family might say that no, I don't need my banking app, I can still manage. A person who is selling probably few guavas down on a street, right? Maybe, which is that need for them, right? So why are they adopting a QR code in India that you would have seen probably the smallest of shops, not even a shop, a roadside something where they're selling it. Is that it's because of need? Because without that they cannot survive. Because if they want to sell, now the QR code has become mandatory.
They need to have a QR code.
Correct. So technology adoption comes from need. So people who have probably their children who are not there with them are more bound to adopt technology because there is no other way.
All the banking systems is going to be only into AI, or it's going to be commercial, combination of AI and the workforce in the traditional banking and AI. So within 5 to 30, how much you are expecting within these 5 years the banking sector going to AI? How much impact that? Is it balanced, or is it only the AI going to take over that?
Yeah, I would say in next 5 years, I would say definitely agentic AI is going to be a reality to some extent, at least to its starting point, is what is predicted now.
So hi everyone, this is Market Research Universe and you are watching MRUnavigator with me, Mridul. So MRUnavigator is a platform which can help you to understand the real time market trends, focused, and the opportunity to track, to start your business or to understand the market trends and all. Okay, so with this, so today's we're gonna discuss a very game-changing topic, which is AI in banking, system, or AI in banking. So when it comes to AI, artificial intelligence, everywhere now, every industry is now changing. AI is changing revolutionizing these industries. Their operation perspectives, their marketing perspectives, their strategy perspectives. In every sectors, they are coming to embrace this AI. So uh, same with this AI, for these banking sectors also. So that's why we are trying to deep dive with this to understand the trends, the real time trends, and understand the forecast, what going to be the future perspectives, future outlook, and also we'll come up some sort of recommendations for the strategy makers or leaders or even the entrepreneurs who try to start their business and all, and also for those all the banking industry leader banking major players, and also small firms of the banking sectors and financial sectors. This is going to be a very impactful session, we are hoping, because why I am very confident with this today's sessions, because we have a very knowledgeable, very you can consider is having expertise, having a more than decade experience in this particular banking sector and banking, digital banking and AI in banking and all. So welcome, sir. We have Satya Sari here. So his full name is Satya Swarup Das. Okay, so I normally call him Satya sir. Okay, so hi, hello, sir. Welcome to this podcast.
Hello, Mridul, and thanks for having me and looking forward to an engaging session.
Yeah, so he is actually a director of product management. So presently he is a director, and he is also a retail, retail banking and product leaders, digital and banking core sector, core banking in this sector, leadership with AI and certificate from ISB. Okay, industry thought leader and speaker. Okay, so again, sir, welcome and thank you for your time for this podcast. Okay, it's really means a lot to me, because I'm a very like very I started my own farm, market research universe. It's been like 3-4 years now. So single-handedly I started this, but now somehow we are growing. We have a little bit a small team and all, and you accepted this request. This means a lot for us. Okay, sir. So with this, I want to understand, as definitely, we're gonna deep dive with this, topic today, that AI in banking sectors. But before that, I want you to, start your journey, so that how you started this, in this particular banking sector, and little bit more about your, your journey, your professional career and all, so that we can help, and that can help us and our audience also, and then definitely we can deep dive with our topic. Yes, sir. Yeah, please.
Yeah, absolutely, Mridul. And this is exciting to come here and share my perspective, my experiences on the past. To let the audience know and yourself as well, I have been in the banking financial industry close to 2 decades now, probably. Okay, so
Okay.
have gone through a lot of work in my professional career, from core banking to branch to digital, and confining myself mostly retail banking part of banking,
Mhm.
because it's a large industry, right? There is investment banking, there is corporate banking, and so on and so forth, right? But my exposure and this discussion will be mostly into the my domain, which is retail banking,
Mhm.
and the systems that I talked about around it, about core, branch, and probably digital, are the main systems that fall into the purview of retail banking, which a bank needs to run its operations and customer service and so on and so forth, the entire operation. Okay, so from that point of view, in the past, I've worked with in a lot of product companies in the core banking space, and have been into services industry also as a COE lead in the past. And here and in my current company, I lead product management for financial services products and solutions.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of experience in implementing products, building products from scratch, and then probably even designing solutions from problem statements of customers and things like that. So that very high level sums up what I have been doing. But let me tell you that I've never been bored from banking, discussing about banking, its problems, customers' issues, and probably how solutions can be designed to fit into that.
Mhm.
So even if I'm close to this, where I am currently at this point in my career, I'm more than ever excited because of now in last 2 to 3 years what is happening in the space of AI. And
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to, and I've started my journey, as you said in the beginning of the call, to do certificates and courses and things like that, because now is the time to go back again to school for me, right? And then start learning again, which has never stopped. But there is a lot of demand now for individuals like me to get up to speed, into which the technology and the solution landscape in banking is changing. And I felt that I can't be leaving myself behind. So doing all this stuff that we're trying to do, trying to still learn about how to get my expertise around building solutions around AI in banking, and how how customer problems and things can be solved by that. So that still interests me, with a lot more attention from AI, the field of AI right now. So yeah, looking forward to a engaging session as well with you, Mridul, to share some of my experiences. It may be right or wrong, but nowadays, at this stage of AI, I think perspectives matter, and that's what I'm trying
Yeah,
to bring
yeah,
in this point in time.
exactly. Perspectives matters because when it comes to a deep research, it is all about perspectives and all. So that is
Yeah.
where we are looking forward with you. So of course we're gonna start with our questions, or like suppose whatever the topic we're gonna cover. So before that, just to inform our audience that that when it comes to AI in banking, the market is I just wanted to start, I don't know, to inform because we are a market research company. So on that basis we have done a recent study on that. So as per
Mhm.
that, we got to know that the global market of AI in banking is expected to uh, you know uh, reach with expected to grow with around more than around 30% CAGR compared to the annual growth rate, and it is registered that around 20 billion dollar in 2024. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's saying, the number is saying that what is the potential of this market. And as I mentioned that CAGR of this or growth rate is around more than, in fact, more than 30% during this period, like 2025 to forecast 2030. In this period, it will be grow with 30, more than 30%. So this is where this is what the potential of this market. So of course, the major why the major drivers of these industries, what we started is that main thing is efficiency. Everybody is looking for efficiency and security and operations and all these things. Okay, so this is a nutshell of our study and all, but of course you are here, and that's why we wanted to understand from your side, give real time data, give a real time, not data, it is real time perspectives. Okay, and then we can call it our data, but the perspectives we wanted to understand from your side throughout your experience, throughout your journey. Okay, so I wanted to understand that. So I'm gonna start with this questions that like how this AI is transforming this banking banking sector now. Like suppose how AI is reshaping the industry, especially in retail banking, because earlier it was not AI driven or any operations with the help of AI, but now it is. And over the time it's going to be all the industries embracing AIs and all, and banking sectors also I think embracing. So but become being an expertise on this, how the transformations happening and how you are how you are thinking about on that, how this AI is shaping this banking sector, especially in retail banking. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I would give a context before we flow into the topic of banking around AI. And what I feel about it is that so artificial intelligence is not new, right? So it has been, probably, if you look to the bookish knowledge of where AI started from and things like that, I think it dates back to 1950s probably, and in
Mhm.
some form or the other it has been there. But it has been severely now accelerated in last 2 to 3 years, so to say, after the advent of ChatGPT, especially.
Yeah, right, right.
And there are others which are coming up now. So the the difference that I see is that the artificial intelligence, in whatever form it used to exist earlier, used to be accessible to probably data scientists, engineers, or probably the tech people who are around it. But now, with the advent of ChatGPT and the generative AI models that are coming in now, I see that this is more or less getting into the hands of normal people like you and me, probably. So we're not not really coding or not really building models and things like that. So anybody and everybody has now access to AI in some form or the other. So I don't know if somebody is not using something like a chat GPT at this point in time in work or something like that, you are already behind. So
Mm.
that's the magnitude of change which is coming in. That's the first step.
Yeah.
So AI is now accelerated, and there is a lot of things which have come in, which a common human being, without understanding what is behind it, can also use it. That's the difference which is coming in. The second part is AI is not just one technology to solve probably a few problems and things like that. I would define it as a general purpose technology. So
Mm.
that also short form comes to as GPT, but this is not the GPT of chat GPT. Okay. So general purpose technology, if you look at,
Mm.
what does it mean is that look at something like internet, something like say electricity in the past, right? Has the innovation around electricity or internet stopped now? No, it is still going on, right? So it's like, when electricity came in, probably some people might have criticized, saying that why do we need it? At that point in time, it is unimaginable now. But
Mm.
this is what would have happened, saying that, oh, this is all a fad and it'll die down. It's this thing, but it has not. So there's still on electricity there are innovation going on. So general purpose technology is something which is, if you go to your learn more about it, I would recommend to go to YouTube. There are several videos on it as well. But what it
Mm.
means is that in a technology which is versatile, a technology which has got widespread impact on various stages of life, and then it brings a plethora of innovations probably for next I don't know, decades and centuries, is a general purpose technology. As I gave example of electricity at probably 200 years back, and maybe internet probably 20-25 years back, how it has changed our life now, right? So it's
Mm.
unimaginable to look at our daily life without these technologies,
Internet.
right? So
Mm.
yeah, so AI is one such technology where I expect probably next decade or centuries to impact our life.
Mm.
And it's at a very nascent stage of evolution, though it is very accelerated, but there is a lot which is going to come in future. So with that, general purpose technology is not going to be confined to one problem or one industry or things like that. That's where you see generative AI's adoption in across industries, whether it is banking, retail, healthcare,
Yeah.
finance, whatever, right? So at
Automotive.
every industry vertical, at every layer, probably you see now adoption which is coming in, or at least the impact that you see currently.
Mm.
So banking is not far behind, because banking is not a very simple industry where there's a lot of things which are there, especially quite complicated in terms of understanding, quite
Mm.
complicated in terms of regulations, because you just don't do anything and everything in banking, right? So there are regulators who guide you, saying that this is what you can do, or
Mm.
you cannot do.
Mm.
And there are a lot of innovations which have happened in the past in terms of fintechs coming in, neobanks coming in, and things like that are already competing with the traditional banks or challenging them, so to say.
Mm.
But with AI's advent, I think the challenge is going to be a lot more for each of these players. It's not going to be easy for anybody to compete
Anybody.
with each other, because whoever adapts the technology faster to solve
Mm.
customer problems and operational problems probably is going to having an upper hand on the others in the competition that they face around them in the industry. So banking is no different. Banking has to be, yes, it is, AI is revolutionizing banking. There's no doubt about that.
Mm.
What it is bringing is that, as I said, the accessibility part is coming to more and more into the hands of probably the end customers of the bank.
Mm.
The expectations are changing accordingly from their customers. It is
Mm.
going to make probably banking operations more efficient, and not to forget security in banking, right? So these are the things which AI is now impacting in financial services. I would say, from the customer's point of view, the key word is personalization, right? So,
Mm.
as a customer, we expect that my bank understands me and then gives me these products and services that I need. I don't care about, say, what hundreds of other customers might be needing. That's the bank's job to look at. But I
Yeah.
know I know what I need, and with least amount of words, if the bank can understand that, then my life becomes simpler rather than going into explaining this to my needs to the bank. And not some of the people are banking savvy, so to say. So
Mm,
they sometimes feel that no, there are jargons in the bank, I don't understand what they're selling and things like that. So the more simpler it becomes, more personalized it becomes, banking to their end customers, the
mm,
easier it becomes for adoption and the growth in business as well. So
yeah.
that's how I would say at a very high level, to
Mm,
answer your first question, probably on that is how AI is revolutionizing banking, and there's a lot of impact in the all the sections of the layers of the bank, so to say, probably from starting with the customers to the back end,
mm.
and from processes to say the regulations, and all length and breadth, across the industry. It is going to revolutionize.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. In the sense, you beautifully, explained and this, with the introductory part of this. So you explained a little bit about, the operational part, a little bit about the consumer perspective also, because consumers are looking for more personalized nowadays, and from
Yes.
that banking sectors of banks are also trying to, facilitate accordingly. So because at the end of the day, banks and all our the supply side is all working for customers. So customers
Yes.
comes first. So on that perspectives, you have explained, but definitely we're gonna more deep dive with the operational perspectives and then consumer side. But just on this, the continuation of this discussion on this part, is there any challenges that you face or that you wanted to tell us, or that this is what okay, yeah, AI is embracing, everybody is embracing, is there's no other option actually, you have to accept AIs, because competitors using AIs, and you, if you wanted to be with the curve of this industry and trend, then or to, want to survive for long, then you have to use this AI, and make your operation efficient and all. But what are the challenges that you are facing presently, and how that is impacting, and what going to be the kind of solutions that comes in your mind, accordingly as you are expert. So challenges and the solutions that you are wanted to conclude here, conclude in the sense mentioned here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense as a question after we have what we have discussed in the in the first question of yours.
Right.
I would, yeah, I would say, the biggest challenge now is that, for a bank is to define, to say yes to a question like, saying, "Am I ready for this?" Okay, that's the
Mm.
biggest question which is on the table in the boardroom currently. Or
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're not ready, how do we go to, what does it need to become ready? Okay, so that's one of the key aspects which has come in, because the technology has proven itself to certain extent. That's why this euphoria is coming in. This
Mm.
euphoria of innovation is coming in now. But how do we apply the technology to solve problems that we have is a is a learning process. There is no one pill that you swallow and then it just solves all your problems. So what are the possibilities of the technology which is coming in now, and how do I utilize those possibilities to solve the problems that I have as a bank in my hand is the challenge. Okay, so
Mm.
that's the definition, the biggest challenge. And of course, if you break it down, there will be operational challenges, there will be strategic challenges, there will be people related challenges, and all that is going to be there. But
Mm.
if you look at readiness point of view, if your bank is quite a legacy bank, you have a, say, the systems, the APIs, and the entire tech ecosystem or tech stack, if it is very old, then it
Mm.
becomes a problem, right? So there is a
Mm.
lot of work that you have to do to get ready. When I say
Mm.
about old systems, what can go is in that your data is in silos, because for anything and everything that you do in AI, your data preparedness is one of the big topics on the table, right? So where is your data, as a bank? Is it unified into a certain layer in which is already prepared for applying AI models on it, or it is in silos? If it is in silos, a lot of work has to be done, right? So if you have not anticipated the change which is coming because of this in the past, then you have a struggle. There is no doubt about that. You have to first start working on how do you prepare your data to a certain level, so that you can even think about AI. Otherwise, there is this no possibility.
Possible.
You can't just put a one table and just apply some model and then give a result. It is not going to be successful anyway, right? So that's there. The other challenge I see is that at the so there is also industry discussion about whether AI should be top driven or bottom up now. So who is
Mm.
going to actually drive this?
Yeah.
And I have read a lot of diverse perspectives on this. There are people who are saying it can be bottom up. There are people in certain context, and there are people saying that it can be top driven only. So my personal view is that I would say at this point in time, for a bank, at least the banking industry, I think it is going to be top down, because the leaders have to first decide, saying that where we want to go and what is the path which is going to lead us there. Then only they can roll out their strategy to the rank and file in their organization here, and then the people can follow for some time to achieve the basic goals of AI, which is there. Be it preparing your data, or if you're prepared, then how do you go, which problems to look at, how to prepare models, and who are the people who are going to lead this. Do we have skills or not, and things like that. So there's a lot on the table now.
Mm.
So that's one of the challenges. So I would say at this point in time, it's my personal opinion, but I feel that a lot of work has to be done by the leaders in the organizations to understand and see how to apply AI first of all. Otherwise, they'll not be able to guide their organization towards that. That's more of a strategic,
So mainly you were suggesting uh, now, as per your understanding, main challenges coming from need to be changed from top down approach from the leaders.
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah, the leaders have to probably learn at a very faster pace than the junior most person probably in that organization. So unless you do that, you'll
Mm.
never be able to define what does the organization want in terms of AI. And it's a vast technology,
Right.
vast impact, and there is a lot of work which has to be done for a bank, so to say. So it has to be top down for some time. Once it settles down with probably your first use case, second use case, things like that, then probably it
Then
has to be more, I would say, delegated to do. But yeah, I mean, of course, leadership is a big challenge. I would say if you have not solved that, you're not never going to be successful. That's there. The third, I would say, again, in a combination of all this, is that do you have the skills and the mindset to go there? Okay, so mindset and people readiness is a very difficult topic to handle. Technology and solutions and other things, you can handle it, but
right.
changing the mindset of people, and why a change in mindset is required is that with AI, you don't have a one method to work as of now. There's no proven method to work now,
Right.
right?
Right.
So, for example, if you are putting money or a budget into something to do in your organization, in the bank,
Mm.
how do you define the success criteria? You are
Mm.
bound to fail probably at certain iterations and then be successful. That's how it works at this point in time. So my point of view is that unless you give the right direction to your organization, the people in the organizations, to say that it's okay to fail and learn. Okay, that's a what we call as a growth mindset, right? Rather than just worrying about whether I will be successful or not.
Mm.
If that kind of a direction of growth mindset has to be given to the customers, and delegation of decision making, because the C-level executive cannot make all the decisions at the project or AI model level, right? So, but then
Mm.
empowerment, and I would say the empowerment of decision making, and combined with a growth mindset, which is nothing but fail and learn, right? So it's okay to fail, a kind of a scenario. Otherwise, people will always be scared to taking decisions, saying then, oh, what if I fail? The project is going to close. Probably the top management will not take my efforts very, generously, and things like that. So if that kind of
Mm.
a ambiguity lies in the minds of the organization and the people who are driving this, you're never going to be successful. So these are 2 3 major challenges that I see where
Mm.
AI adoption is going to be
Mm.
shaped by in any organization, for so to say, especially for a bank as an organization.
Mm. Because I think this is the only option remain to innovate something. Because when it because I'm giving you another example, like if you regulate a particular industry very extreme level, that you can't do this, you can't do that, we can't do that, then innovation will not come. Once
Exactly.
innovation came, one innovation came, and then once it become a little bit popular, then regulation challenge will face, then you can regulate, but not
That's
in
it.
very advanced level. Yeah.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
you are right, Mitul. It's an iteration. Okay, so there is no one solution which you just do end to end and it just comes out as a finished product. It will never be for any organization or any product or solution that you build. So point is that, what should I worry at this beginning? So
yeah.
while you're innovating, you should not be worried about results. First, bring in results, what is going to be
Ah,
there.
right,
Then
right.
how does it apply to under the regulations or things like that? In a bank, I would say while you're working, you're not somebody who does not, I mean, you don't have people who do not understand banking inside a bank, right? So you will have certain direction. I'm not saying that just completely forget it,
Mhm.
but if you're worried about what if this does not pass, this, that at all, you cannot solve any problem now because there are unknowns. You have to accept that there are unknowns. I will
Mhm.
only experiment and do iterations to solve problems. So if you try to solve all the problems like a current IT project, a non-AI based IT project, saying, oh, this is my requirement, this is my approach to
Mhm.
architecture and solution, and hence I will get this. That's not going to happen to my knowledge to large extent unless
Mhm.
you have a very simple use case for which you know exactly how it works. Still there will be iterations inside that because the model has to be trained at any way to be perfect, right? So you're right. I mean, I agree with that it has to be iterative, and you have the major point is that you're prepared to be failing and then learning out of it and then moving
Yeah.
forward. So iterative.
Interesting, interesting. So let's come to the our next segment, which is mainly we are try to understand some more of the operation perspectives. Okay. So when it comes to operational perspectives, so banking operations including this, like efficiency needed nowadays, and then like security issue. When it comes to banking, the security issue is the huge, like that's why I think think about that, quantum computing is one of the I think over the time down the line, 5 or 10 years, banking system is going to be, developed nations are only using going to start within these 5 or 3 5 years, going to start using quantum computing and edge computing, quantum computing and all, because of the only reason is the security. uh,
Yeah.
so on that perspectives, I wanted to understand from your side, so what is the operational efficiency perspectives if we use AI, and then try to give us some throw some light on the this this quantum computing, or fraud detections, risk management, credit assessments, and all these things in the operationals and all, and efficiencies and all. Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are the words that you took. Middle are the words which have been discussed now in the AI area in the the banking arena currently. Okay, so I would say operational efficiency is one of the key topics which has been existing ever since probably when banks were invented even. Okay, so how do I do more with less resources, more with less people, more with probably less process steps and things like that was always the focus which is there, right? So where I see, at least eagerness of banks to get AI adopted is more in this space in terms of its operations. Is that
or or I can
and one
just sorry to interrupt, or I can just we can just discuss on that, because we already in the first segments we have already discussed a little bit about efficiencies and all these things. So let's
Mhm.
try to make it very clear that I wanted to understand more of the loan approvals, because when it comes to banking and all these things, major operations including this
Hmm.
loans, and then customer services, and and all these interventions, so loans and customer services and all. Do you think banks are ready for this future with minimum human interventions? Because when it comes to AI, we are using AI, then banking, the employees, because this is the scary situation. Not only banking, but all other industries, if AI will come, my job will gone. Okay, so where
Yeah.
employment and all these things, unemployment happen and all these things. So what are your perspectives on that in the operational perspectives when it comes to the this kind of things? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you look at as an example, probably loan processing, that's one of the biggest operational areas for a retail bank, right? Because that's complex. There's a lot of steps. and there is a lot of non-straight through processing steps also. We say, what if this goes wrong? What if that doesn't match? Give more documents, give more proof of your claims that you have and things like that. So that's complex. So I would say loan processing, so to say, from onboarding to underwriting to say the servicing of the customers across, I think the process life cycle of a loan, I think AI has an impact everywhere currently. So if you want to look at them, dissect them and look at them, probably, yeah, I mean, from a onboarding point of view, there is a lot of manual steps. Okay, so somebody sits through your to look into your documents that you submit and index them, and then probably say that, okay, finding information out of that and entering data into a system and things like that. This is a lot of work, manual work, right? Can AI be applied to reduce that to smaller amounts of time? Of course, to summarize and to probably OCR technologies, or reading documents, indexing them also. So, for example, you have say 6 months of your pay slip you have given, right? So as a PDF document, how do I know which document is what? Somebody has to open and click and do that, right? So those kind of identification jobs can be easily done by generative AI now. So to speak and summarize, probably what is my average of 6 months salary, so you don't have to click 6 times, look into document 6 times and try to, just to give you an example. So yeah, I mean, from that point of view,
All
for
the
loan,
repetitive works, all the time consuming works, repetitive works can be done easily because of AI now,
right,
right?
of course, it can be done. The other aspect is about underwriting, where I mean, it is about, in simple words put, it's about how do you decide you give loan to this person or not, whether he's going to actually repay or not. So it's more of a, how do I get trust that this person is eligible for a loan and he will repay me, so that I get interest out of it. This
This
is
is more
very
of a
simple and
credit, right? The civil
right.
scores or something. I'm
Exactly.
layman to that. So how banking
You
system
know,
work?
yeah, that's how traditionally it has been working. But what about unbanked population which does not have a credit history? Okay, so a farmer probably working in a remote village might not have a credit history like you and me, who are having a completely have a bank account and everything goes through that. It may not have. So how do you do that? So as I said, the general purpose technology part in the beginning, right? So this is where AI can solve problems in day-to-day life about, say, if
Got
the say for example, some kind of a sensor or device which is there, which tracks your crop growth, so that I can disburse accordingly from a bank, right? Something like that can come in as well. So this is where the it touches the human lives of that farmer probably, who doesn't have a credit history and struggling for getting a loan into from banks, right? So those kind of those kind of newer markets, newer segments of customers who can actually benefit out of this, because the bank cannot be present everywhere to check everything, right? But it can have sell insurance, probably crop related disbursement and things like that, by putting a device and tracking your progress
daily life
accordingly, and then
activities
based
for
on that,
crop is not possible.
automate your disbursement and probably recovery process. Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So let's come to the consumer perspectives now. So this is a very much important to understand because okay, we are all understanding from the supply side and perspectives, from banking side perspectives, from the top down approach perspectives,
Right.
that AI is important to embrace, to make the operation perspective efficient, and all these minimizing the fraudulent activities and all security, making sure the security concerns will not happen and all these things. So no, okay. So now when it comes to, on the other hand, the bottom up approach, the consumers, the demand side understanding. So what you are thinking, what is the mindset going on, towards among these customers, because customers are really ready to embrace this AI driven banking systems or apps, like mobile apps, because at the end of the day, being a customers, it is somehow still there are people there are customers who are not ready to even use the apps, because they think, okay, no, if I use apps, that the data, passwords and all be taken by someone else and it can be hacked and all these things. So how much they are ready, what is the perspectives of customers,
Yeah.
that you observe throughout and presently also? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, see, the readiness of customers comes from need. Say, for example, if I say somebody older in my family might say that no, I don't need my banking app, I can still manage it. Okay, that
My
you know
father.
how it
My
happens.
father don't use.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but think about a person who is selling probably few guavas down the on a street, right? Maybe,
Mm,
which is that need for them, right? So why are they adopting a QR code in India that you would have seen probably in the smallest
mm.
of shops, not even a shop, a roadside something where they're selling it? Is
Grocery
that it's because of
yeah.
need? Because
Mm.
yeah, without that they cannot survive,
Yeah.
because if they want to sell, now the QR code has
Then they
become
need to
mandatory.
have a
So
QR code.
correct. So
Yeah.
technology adoption comes from need. So
Mm,
people who have probably their children and other who are not there with them are more bound to adopt technology because there is no other way. So let's
mm,
put it that way. So the farmer's example that I gave probably has to adopt technology somehow by understanding, taking help or something like that, some in a family or something like that. But there is no other way going forward. If banks have to reach out to those customers in certain way, it will touch their life. So technology is inevitable now. So
mm,
and the more needy you are on your business or your survival, probably you
mm.
will move towards your technology. So I would say I can teach probably a farmer technology better than my father or grandfather probably. So that's how it is, because the farmer needs it all the more because he has to survive on the business.
Mhm.
So so that explains the readiness part of it. So customers will adapt so
Mm,
long as it is going to be easier for them to adapt. And
mm,
say for a banking customer, like say normal customer, if I put that hat now and think about it and forget about what a bank is doing, see how they are applying technology to give me solutions is none of my
mm,
business. That is black box for me. What they are doing out inside their bank, I don't know. What I
mhm,
see is in my interface, or when I interact with the bank, whether it is physically or through a mobile device or an app or something like that,
mm.
what I expect as a customer is that I should be able to first of all understand what they are trying to do, why they are trying to do this, and
Right.
that's where the explainability part comes in, right? So when we talk about AI,
Mm,
and then understand what are the next steps which are going to be there.
mm,
Understand, if I do this, what does it mean? If I do
mm,
the other thing, what does it mean? What are the
mm,
options given to me? Is this
mm,
relevant to me, or something like that? That's why we talked about personalization also. So I want banking to be very simple, explainable, and with least number of probably steps or things like that, and at a faster pace it should come to me. So if I am applying for the same probably a loan, right? So plethora of documents will ask me. I don't know
mm,
why I'm giving this. Why are you asking me all those things to do? And
mm.
probably nowadays what will happen is bank will come back after 10 days to say that no, it is not approval. You know what? You have to give your pay slips now because we have crossed one more month now. So to give the
Yeah.
latest 6 months. This is what typically happens, right? In a
Mm.
bank. So how can we make that simpler about faster decision making so that you don't go back to the
I think
customer?
that is actually making a negative sense towards customers, because they sometimes says, okay, so banking system is just harassing me and all, delaying
Correct.
me and all these things. So this can be solved through AI, right? You are telling.
Correct. Correct. So I'm glad that you took the word negative there. That's where I was getting to. See,
Mm,
banking is inherently frustrating, I would say, right? So there is no positivity in that per se from from starting point of view. I don't
mm,
feel saying that, oh, I just did 5 fund transfers and I'm feeling very happy today.
mm.
Banking is not that kind of a service. Banking is a service you are forced to do something because you need it. I don't feel very happy saying that. I mean, unless you have a home loan sanctioned or something like that, that's where you'll feel happy. But during the process of applying something, more or less 90-95%, there is no pleasure assigned to it, right? It's inherently frustrating saying that, oh,
Ah,
I have to transfer in money, I have to do something, and this is how
mm,
it is. So from that
mm,
perspective, it is negative.
mm.
That's why people don't like to go through this hassles of
Long process
back and
harassment.
forth and things like that. So uh, that's where it's all the more applicable to a banking industry, because it doesn't start with, it's not like going to an amusement park and enjoying, right? So it's
Right.
it's frustrating. So how can
Mm,
you reduce the frustrations of the customers is the key tool from banks to look at it, and AI is a great enabler of that, and it's going to
mm.
solve that problem with
Great.
great efficiency and security.
Making sense, because this is one of the key problem, major problem that customers facing. Whenever you go, you have to be in queue to get
Yeah,
get a queue, long line and all. When it comes to,
yeah,
I'm not using the name of that bank, so you all know one of the largest bank, company in
yeah,
government sector. So you have to go, and everybody saying that come after lunch and all, and you have to be there in the queue and all. So I think this can be solved through AI, right?
yeah,
What
yeah.
you were suggesting. Yeah, great, great, great. It's sounding very interesting, sir. Okay, so Nelu, let's come with this, when it comes to financial planning. Okay, financial planning and all. So this is also very much important. So nowadays, what happening? There are apps including,
Hmm.
so I can, if I allowed to name these companies like Zerodha and Grow. These are the apps. They are sometime coming up with AI driven, or not these companies, but there are a lot of XYZ companies are, apps are there who are providing some sort of instant suggestions, AI driven suggestions, financial suggestions. Like suppose you want to invest in mutual funds, you want to do SIP, blah blah blah, and then AI, you just wanted to understand some research, you are clicking this is research. So AI driven research will show you should go ahead these portfolios and portfolios and that portfolios. Now, how much that is trustable from our side? If yes, or if not, then what is your suggestions? Should it be some sort of understanding from that, and also you to use your brain and also talk to the consultant, the financial expert, or it's okay AI driven recommendations or suggestions is okay to go ahead with? What is your
Yeah,
opinion?
I would say, yeah. I mean, there's no one answer to different problems which are there, right? So, it really depends on what I'm trying to do with that. If it is a very simple topic, I'm asking something about saying that, can you suggest me a good mutual fund? It's not very. I would say the chances of going wrong might be minimal. But if I'm investing into something with a larger portfolio and I want to build something specific to a need or something like that, I
Hmm.
think it can be complex. So when the complexity comes in, how good is your suggestion? Okay, and I should be able to know even where the bank's lack is. That you would have noticed, since you talked about Grow and other mutual fund related apps,
Hmm.
everybody advises you when to buy. Nobody tells you when to sell it. Okay, to optimize my portfolio. So
Right,
as a
right, yeah.
customer, I want to know. Yes, I have bought it. Now, how do I manage it? That advice also give me. Otherwise, it's half of advice which is there. So the point I'm trying to make here is that when you give advice from AI or whoever is giving that, give me for that entire life cycle, because I don't need the small advice from you, then I'm struggling. That's of no point to me, right? So
Hmm.
especially for a mutual fund which is there. So if I want to maintain under certain rules about saying that this is how I want to grow, this is my risk appetite, I define it for you, give me that
Hmm.
solution end to end. And this
Hmm.
is where, as a customer, I know I should have the explainability part of AI, right? I should
Hmm.
know why I'm doing this. You say that,
Hmm.
okay, invest in this mutual fund, but why? How does it appear, apply to rather
Hmm.
my situation, my goals, and my life cycle stage probably at this time for me. So it should be explainable to me regarding, now, why are you saying that I should be investing into this?
Hmm.
So when you bring in the entirety end-to-end suggestions and probably explainable suggestions, it will be easier for a customer to adopt and trust more.
Hmm.
Otherwise, they will always go back to ask somebody, in person, face to face, saying that,
Hmm.
because that's how the human can explain it a lot better, right? So you might have follow-up questions and things
Hmm.
like that. So I would say the two things here. So explainability part and having an end-to-end understanding of where I'm going is very, very important for financial advisory or suggestions which the system is trying to give a customer to.
Okay. So can we come up this conclusion on this, as you explained that if it is a minimal investment or a mutual fund and all, then it's better to just trust with AI and go ahead. If it is a huge investment, for a long term investment or huge investment, it's better to combination of AI and the expertise also. Am I right?
I would say at every stage explainability is required. So even if it is a discussion saying that, can you suggest me 5 mutual funds, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to use it or not. That's what is the perspective I was saying, that my involvement might be low in that. But when I'm going for a say home loan or something like that, my involvement might be a lot higher because I'm putting probably my life savings into something, an asset. I should be sure about what I'm trying to do and what surprises I can face in the in the life cycle of that. So I would say at this point in time, I would say it's always good to apply your mind and recheck what they are trying to do, recheck with other experts probably, which is going to be do. And if it is certain bank is trying to give per particular say area, they're trying to advise me over a long period, and I see, oh yeah, this is what I've been experiencing for last 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and it generally works, then I'll build the trust. But first time, I think trusting anything would be difficult. So you need advice from other experts, probably your own intelligence, to understand how it is coming in, because the explainability part at this point in time, as I said, may not be too mature to allow customers to take decisions on their way. But things are evolving thick and fast. That's where the agentic AI terminology is coming in. Can it be self-sufficient to manage everything for you is a question. So whatever questions if you ask, if it is able to explain it to you, then well and good. I don't need a human. But are we there is the question for each of the use cases that we have, for scenarios that we have for a customer to be solved at or advised at.
Making sense. Pretty much clear now. Okay, so now let's with this, we're gonna come, conclude this, this podcast today. So with this, the last segment it is. So let's come with the future perspectives of this particular AI in banking sector. So as you explored in 2 decades you were working, so the evolutions and within these 2 decades and all. And you can now, I think, you can also, with the right person here to give some predictions from your perspectives. Okay, we are not looking for the predictions that gonna only happen. Okay, predictions is all about, forecasting is all about predictions. Predictions is all about what we are perspectives, what we are thinking. Time series, what we do quantitatively, we call it time series, we call it regression analysis and blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, it is also important to understand the qualitative perspectives. So on that perspective, because I just wanted to understand the qualitative perspectives from your side, as per your throughout experience, what you are expecting that going to happen down the line 5 years or 10 years with the AI in banking sector. Is it down the line 5 years, all the banking sector is going to be only into AI, or it going to be commercial, combination of AI and the workforce in the traditional banking and AI? So within 5 years. So let's make it very clear, within 5 years. So like today, it is 5. By 2030, how much you are expecting within these 5 years that banking sector going to, AI, how much impact that? Is it balanced, or is it only the AI going to take over that?
Yeah, I would say in next 5 years, I would say definitely agentic AI is going to be a reality to some extent, at least to its starting point, is what is predicted now. So some amount of work agents are going to definitely take over, but I don't see a complete, only the processes where there are not many variations, I would say. So, for example, if you for a loan process, right, there might be 10 possibilities. If you are a salaried person, you are treated differently. If you are a person who has a business, a small business, you are treated differently. So it has a lot of nuances inside it, right? And what kind of document you give and all decides how your process is going to be. If it is that kind of a complex process, I think human intervention is different. Human, I would say, foresight, not intervention. At least human foresight is required, or say, I'm not getting the right word. Probably oversight is the right word. So human oversight is required other than foresight. So somebody has to oversee the process. Is it doing right or something like that? Or the customer is asking more questions. Does the customer understand why it is doing that and things like that? That's where probably human oversight is going to be definitely one of the cases which is going to be there in the next 5 years. I would say AI is inevitable. It will come towards us, and what will soon become reality in all of the banks probably, which is now concentrated more on the biggest of the banks at this point in time, which are probably the deepest pockets. And now is that the AI powered bots to answer some of the questions are going to be definitely reality soon. So most of you is going to ask questions to them. Whether you are 100% satisfied with that or not is a second question, but your first point of interaction is going to be agent. So beyond that, you may, if you're not satisfied with that, there will be always an option to talk to a person or go to a branch or somebody in person to look at that. That's what I would think. But AI is going to be probably embedded into many other things. So around you, whatever devices you use, whatever ways of approaching a bank, whether it is through voice, in person, digital, I think AI is going to be embedded in most of those aspects which is there. And in next 5 years, I would say there will be a lot of regulations which will come in. I think the European Union has a regulation now. US will not have, I don't know whether in next 5 years they will have or not, but US has a different approach altogether always. They always say that, no, let the competition decide what the people want, right? Rather than restricting everything, which is more of an approach from you to safeguard the customer's interest. So whether this is right or that's right is it never can be answered. These are two different approaches, and that's how the world evolves, right? So I would say regulatory aspects are going to be definitely evolving. Some kind of guidelines, principles are going to be there around what you do and what you do not do, and what you take to the customers and what you don't take. Or if you build a product and solution, can you sell it in certain areas or not, subject to regulations and things like that. So these are areas in which I think the evolution is going to come in banking industry for next 5 years. But I think I would summarize it by saying that AI is inevitable. Customers will gradually adopt it as long as the banks are able to explain it and give a holistic view of what it is trying to do. And the organizations, the banks which are able to drive this within them with their people and strategy are going to be more successful than the others to take into the market currently. And a lot of things also depend on investment. Okay, so right now if you see the Bank of America's, the JP Morgans of the world probably are leading this race because they have money to spend on it. But I think it will be more the terminology which will come in future is more towards open source, probably models which are going to be there. That will accelerate a lot of innovation, and then adoption into solutions is what I think. And gradually the tier 2, tier 3 smaller banks, credit unions, non-banking financial services in India probably would be more interested or more have more ammunitions in their arsenal to actually attack AI and then take it to their customers is what I feel.
Yeah, interesting, very interesting. So, so this is going to be the last, questions from my side, and I mean, this is all about the conclusion and your recommendations. Okay, so I want you to, because you are expertise, so our audiences includes the industry leaders, entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs in these banking sectors, and all the leaders, including the top, big companies, strategy making companies, or consulting firms, or banking sectors advisors, and all this, and also the customers' perspectives. What is your final, recommendations, so that they can grow, they can survive, or if it is entrepreneurs, so that they can start something within this. So, what going to be your recommendation on this?
Yeah, that's very interesting because yeah, I mean, I'll give my perspective about that. So if you're a bank or entity which is like a bank, like a credit union, non-banking financial services, or something like that, then I think AI adoption may not be a big bang approach. So you have to be probably ready to take it in a phased approach, and then you have to decide what comes in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and so on and so forth, right? So you have to break down your AI adoption for a bank or something like that, and then, as I said, strategically define a direction in which you want to achieve and what you want to achieve, and align your people and data towards it. That's very much important for a bank. Unless you have these 3-4 topics solved, I don't think you're ever going to be successful. You just burn money and then close projects and come back to do something and then again burn money. That's how it is going to be there. If you are an entrepreneur or a budding, probably fintech or something like that, as you asked, right? So you're starting your journey.
Are there on this case? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's exciting time because there is a lot of innovation that you can bring in, which probably the traditional banks are not doing at this point in time. At least not all of them are doing. Some of the biggest banks are definitely experimenting with, but if you can solve problems with technology, as I said, right, technology is just the enabler, right? So I don't look at AI only in the lens of one technology. So AI is also going to be combined with something like, say, a decentralized finance, blockchain, and probably OCR technologies and various other technologies which are there. So it's never going to be like a question paper in an exam, probably saying that what problems you can solve with AI. So
mm,
AI alone will not solve problems. There are other technologies which will combine with AI to solve problems also, because
mm, mm,
nobody has put a restriction like an exam saying that think in this direction only. So to entrepreneurs, I will say that, try to find out how AI can be combined with other technologies to solve problems. And I would say never concentrate only on the technology first. First, look at the problem that you are trying to solve from
mm,
business point of view. Why would a bank need that? Why would a customer of bank need that? If you
mm,
understand the business problems well, you can
mm,
apply the technology well. So first layer is understand technology, but while solving problems, you should be business focused and
mm,
understand what business problem you have to solve, and then technology comes as an enabler to solve that problem. If you
mm,
start your journey saying that, oh, I know about this kind of a modeling, I'll solve problems, it's more or less not going to be marketable. You may be successful
mm,
technically, but whether
mm,
it is a solution to sell and earn money out of it
mm,
may be very very difficult. So
mm,
that's my piece of advice that I would give probably entrepreneur or a small fintech which is probably starting at this point in time. And for professionals who are there in the industry, probably
yeah,
the bottom line is learn and learn. There is no other, there's no other way.
yeah,
So it has to be lifelong learning, and a little bit of change in mindset of saying that, as I said
what,
earlier, saying that I will fail.
okay, I'm going to
Um,
make it very easy, for our audience also.
yeah.
What are the top skills for professionals? What are the top financial skills they need to acquire now to be in the market, to be in this industry for a long? Yeah,
I would
top skills.
say, yeah, top skills are never technical skills for me. Okay, so
Mm,
I am not. I don't think in that way. Top
mm,
skills are, say, I mean, you would have seen you would have heard about the industry leaders, stalwarts talking about whether it's Satya Nadella or Nvidia CEO, one and saying so. All of them are saying that the applications which are there are going to die because AI is going to be autonomous in its agentic form to
mm,
automatically do many things. So SaaS applications are going to be dying, is what Satya Nadella said some time back. So it's a huge statement in the IT industry, right? So I would say
right.
anybody and everybody who is there in the IT industry currently, this key skills to learn is understand domain. Why does a bank need a process? Why does a customer need to do this? Why does the regulation define this? The more you
Mm,
understand about the business, technology is going to follow you. You can give advice to a certain person who knows technology to solve that problem, but unless you understand business problems, business processes, and the domain related issues which are there to be solved, you'll never be successful. So I would say key skills is understand business more than technology. I'm not
mm,
discouraging to look at technology. Of course, you have to understand, but you have to be business focused first.
mm, mm. Making sense, and this is what is actually going to work, whenever the situation come. If you understand what exactly they need and accordingly come up with some solutions, that is what needed, that is where market is needed, and accordingly you can come up some technology and you can innovate, and you can, of course, that innovation is going to be work in the market. Otherwise, if you only go ahead with technology, then you may be a tech savvy, but it not a market savvy. uh,
Correct. Exactly. So, if I small example, if you give before we conclude, is that imagine the time when probably in the 90s or so, Excel came in, Microsoft Excel as a spreadsheet tool, right? Before that, the bankers will write in a blue and black pen in pen and paper, right, and maintain records.
yeah, yeah.
So, did the work go down when we talked about the bankers? Yeah, I mean, people who did not learn the technology probably were obsolete, but people who learned work
Mm,
only increased after that.
mm,
So, though the problem solving was at a very less pace, whatever you used to do in a probably 2 hours time was done in 2 seconds probably now with an Excel.
mm,
But
mm,
expectations rose because you have to take more customers, handle more customers, business and things like that. So you have to expect it to do faster, and that is
mm,
what is going to also happen this at this point in time with AI. All of
mm.
us are going to be expected to work probably 10 times 20 times at the pace we were working in using the
Yeah,
tools which are there. So we don't
right.
have, when I say understand technology, there are a group of people who are going to work probably how the technology is going to be evolving, but I don't
Mm,
have to break my head about how Excel works. That's black
mm,
box for me. I should know how to use the tool and solve problems. So
right,
that, if I may summarize like that, it's that kind of a small example can set you about what I'm talking about, where it has to be focused.
right. That's pretty much easy for now, I think. Okay, then I think it was a really impactful session. It's very knowledge. You have thank you for your valuable knowledge that you have shared, and I'm sure that this impacted our audience, including the entrepreneurs who are because there are a lot of customers sometimes come to me and they want to understand what are the trends, what are the business opportunities in banking, finance sector or banking sector. So this is where these are the trends that can our discussion is going to help them to understand that, and all the leaders. And of course then in last we discussed the skills also. Skills in the sense, what do you mean by skills? It is not about only a skill, it is about that overall understand the
Understood.
pain, understand the pain point and come up the solutions and all. Okay, don't be be very into technology, but also the marketable understanding or demand understanding also of that
Yeah.
is also very important. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for this, for your time, and it was really impactful. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, pleasure. Nice to participate here from my point of view. A lot of questions which made sense from your side, and I'm
Mm.
sure whatever perspectives and experience that I brought in, your audience would have definitely helped me. And thank you very much, Mridul, for inviting me.
Yeah.
And
Another thing, sir, just a record. So you can just if anyone want to connect with you, for related to finance and all, because you are also consultant advisors in this financial sector. So just just tell them your LinkedIn profile name, and so that they can connect you. So this is it. I think
yeah,
Satya, you can. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I think LinkedIn is the best medium to contact me. Just drop me a, I think you yourself also contacted me through that. So I would
Right.
say for a lot of that work that I do every week, I post it on LinkedIn as well for my followers and readers to read at them. And the profile can be shared if you want, which is there. But I think the
I'll share.
LinkedIn, whatever the
Definitely.
URL
I'll
comes in,
share in the caption.
slash,
Share your profile.
yeah, slash Satya S Das is my username, so to say, which comes after the URL to find me there.
So
And yeah, that's how it is. And I'll be glad if there are questions, discussions which are there to engage with people, because that's the only way to go forward, as I said in the beginning, right? Learning is
this is
only the
how
constant
I think this
pursuit
is
of.
how I believe this is how we win-win solutions. This is how we grow in this industry,
Exactly.
helping each others and all. Okay.
Exactly.
For those other, I'll request, as you already, through this podcast, we have generated a lot of, deep insights. So all the others, like, having any confusions, any advisories and consulting, they can contact us. Me also mentioning my, LinkedIn, and Satya sir's is, LinkedIn profile is also mentioned, going to be mentioned in this, captions and all. Okay, sir. With this, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Minul. It was exciting, and looking forward to having more discussion in future, probably. Okay.
Sure,
Thank
sir.
you.
Same.
Take care.
Thank you.